Okay, the Egg Cup Round 7. This map is winter wrap-up. It's always going to be snowing, and I picked Drake. Battlecopters aren't exactly too good on this map because it will always be snowing. But if since I'm Drake, if I use my super, it will switch to rain for a day, which allows air units to go at which would allow my air units to go at normal speed. My opponent also picked Drake for I don't know why. I don't know their reasoning, but I suppose Drake is an all-around good CO for this this rule set. Black bombs and stoves are allowed on this map because they are severely weakened on the snow. And if it's raining instead, because we're Drakes, they won't be. Well, they will still be weak from Drake's day to day, but they won't be weakened by the snow. So, as a defensive player that I am, he skipped his turn 1 capture over here to go for the capture chain and the capture chain here, which I think maybe I should start skipping my turn 1 properties, my turn 1 properties to go for the capture chain, because I believe this this move right here was the game was not the game-winning move, but it's one of the major contributing reasons, and I'll show you why later. So I go with an artillery because I'm a defensive player, and my opponent takes advantage of this and builds a recon. I typically don't use recons too often in non-fog, but what I didn't see and that my opponent saw was that recons have amazing movement with all these roads and shows on this map. Like, sure, it's snowing and the vehicles are units in general are supposed to be slow in the snow. There are so many roads and so many shoals that they're just really strong. I built a mech because mechs can go over mountains for the comm tower. And because I built an artillery with his recon is just going to be uncontested for a time. I need a tank to stop that recon. And with that recon, he just denied me these properties, these very important properties, whereas he's getting his property. He's getting his properties, and I'm not going to be getting mine. So at this point, I already lost. Like, the game's already decided because of the recon of our openings. But I don't surrender because there's always a chance I may turn this around. But the chances of that is much lower. I even made a mistake with the way I moved. Uh, if I moved my infantry, or my artillery in a different position, perhaps I could have stopped him from getting this property, but I would just be delaying it. Yeah, I'm just not happy with my movements as well. Because I could just get my artillery here. If I got better infantry movements, like instead of moving this infantry left and then down, if I moved him straight down, I could have blocked my artillery with my infantry and denied him this property. Like getting some compensation for my losing of these two properties. But I was playing rather quickly, I didn't plan out my moves, and my opponent was spending quite a long time with each move, whereas I'm only spending like 1 or 2 minutes making them. So, just overall, I made worse decisions, but I had to get some compensation somehow, so I decided to try to threaten his property here. And I need to build a tank otherwise that recon will just do whatever it wants, and I don't want that. So he's getting all of his properties right now. I'm not getting these two. And with a 30-day limit, I have to do something. Otherwise, I will lose just by having less properties. So I go for it. I probably should have moved this infantry on this side to block this recon. Again, these recons were the reason why he won. They just hard counter my artillery. But I decide to play it off because I'm not going to give up without a fight. And look at that recon. From the base all the way to my artillery. He got a low row over there, and that's why my artillery survived, but it's pretty much gone. He also gets an infantry and gets a nice shot on mine. And he starts going for my property, which he's winning. He just has to deny me my properties and he's won. Of course, I'm still not going to surrender. I'm going to keep trying. I decide to trap his recon in completely. Because you got shot my artillery, but I'm going to do what I like, try to make up for it by taking down the recons. I don't know why he chose to attack with 2 infantry to interrupt me here. I think it was better to just take this property because it is incredibly hard to like once these properties are captured, it is incredibly hard to stop the capture because you can just place an indirect in the back. So the only way to remove those indirects is to overextend onto your opponent's side, which they will have a strong counterattack. And that is why the early recon against my artillery was so devastating for me, simply because I was denied my properties. And I can't just stall it out, I have to attack. It's a 30-day limit game. So we will go a little quicker here. Not much I can say. Pick off infantry where I can, and finish off the recons, push him off this property to make sure he doesn't take mine. Just, I can't have these properties, but I am definitely not going to let him get these. At least I would try not to. I would, if once he captured this, I will be 2k behind on all, like every turn. It will be very hard for me to catch up. So he's just consolidating his forces in the center, continuing to deny me my properties, which is good play by him, building more artillery to lock down my properties so that I can't use them. And so I knew I had to like group my forces to try to attack one side or the other because I can't fight him head on. He will just overwhelm me with, well, he would just get more tanks and more everything since he can afford it. And I built the battlecopter. Main reason for this, artillery can't shoot at battlecopters, and the battlecopters are incredibly weak, but I have to turn the tide somehow. And the crazier a battle is, the more opportunities there are, so I thought I should start using battlecopters. I mean, battlecopters he would eventually have to respond with anti-air. And with anti-air, that's less tanks. That's another reason why I chose. I put my artillery here to protect his property because it looks like he might try to take it. And I probably not going to get this property, but I can at least try just to do something. I built a medium tank of my own because these battlecopters aren't going to. The medium tank is faster and can just move away from my battlecopter. I considered going Kindle as well, but I don't think it would have helped much. And I'd rather just get sudden movement from the rain. So, once again, still locking down my property. I don't think I can get this one anytime soon. I moved my infantry over because I realized if he attacks with both his infantry, my infantry on the road would die, and then he can break through with his tank. So I moved my tank in the front instead and have a mech behind it to back it up. So attacking here isn't gonna work. His anti-air would cover it. So then I started shifting to the right. Maybe I can try attacking something over here and definitely deny him my property on the side. So I start shifting a lot of things to the right, and yeah, we're just playing the waiting game. He, he can wait. Uh, Once day 30 hits, I will lose by, but I would just lose by capture because I have less units. If he tries to trap my medium tank, my artillery can shoot it down, and I'm trying to make a push on this side to see how it goes. But that also means my other side will be vulnerable, so I have to pull back, which again was a mistake because he took this opportunity of my weakened state to take those properties, and I can't fight back because all my units are on the right. So like I said, I pretty much lost as soon as that recon artillery build happened. So I lost very early on, but I still fight it out to keep it interesting. Maybe I can turn it around. Nothing much happens. He just gets the properties, and his medium tank and 3 tanks here deny me from these properties. So we're gonna go a little faster. He gets those 2 properties and I'm unable to respond. He shoots my mech with an infantry. I'm fine with that. Maybe I can get a unit count advantage if he's throwing 1 infantry to at least just hurt my mech. It's not actually dead. Maybe I can get ahead on the unit count, whereas I'm behind on unit value. Pretty much nothing. I realize my medium tank here is vulnerable. 2 medium tanks will probably... Well, there's a 50-50 chance it will just outright destroy mine. And my artillery is also in a rather vulnerable position after that. So I had to pull my medium tank out. Probably should have pulled it back this way. And he took advantage of that and began attacking. I fought back, couldn't kill his medium tank. My medium tank is dead. If I had gotten these 2 properties earlier, if I had decided to skip my turn 1 property capture, if I didn't start with an artillery and maybe went for a tank or a recon of my own, I think the game would have just ended in a draw, because both of us would just be sitting here waiting for an opponent to make a mistake. I don't know what happens if a draw happens in the Egg Cup. I don't think anyone mentioned what would happen in the case of a draw. But we could very much stalemate this. So if you notice, I've been saving my money. I thought, alright, he's getting another property. I need something drastic to turn the tides around. So Black Bomb. They can't move very far, but I'm getting close to my super. If I get my superpower, they can go the full 9 tiles, rush into the enemy center, and blow up the entire army. Along with the super, which also cripples whatever is left. So that was my plan. I needed a black bomb to turn it around. And he sees this. he knows that I don't have the money to continue fighting him since I invested in the black bomb, and and that's when he begins his massive push. He wants to cripple my army before the black bombs arrive. So, second black bomb. One black bomb just reduces them to 5. Two black bombs makes them all into useless 1 HP units. So that was what I was thinking of getting a second black bomb. And I probably should have retreated one more tile and just let him have this property, because if we keep fighting, he is getting his charge, and he might get his super first, which would be devastating for me. I want to start with my super first. So, and he's attacking. Just attacking where he can. These black bombs run out of fuel very quickly. I was worried that one of them is going to crash, especially again since my opponent is Drake, and even a normal power can drain the fuel. So I was a little concerned. But at this point, I should have just withdrawn. I don't know why I kept fighting for this property. He, I think I gave him his super as a result of it. Well, he backed off, but I should have been the one to back off because now he's very close to his superpower. And my black bombs aren't in position yet to actually move in. I think at this point, I might as well activate my super and send them in to start blowing stuff up, because the next turn, I don't know why I'm fighting this. I just gave him his superpower. I should have just activated mine, blew up whatever I could with the black bomb, then charged in and destroy as many low HP units as I can. But he got his super first, and then started blowing everything up. I might be going a little fast, but the game has already been decided, so he blocks my airport. I mean, not my airport, my base, and just cripples my army as much as he possibly could. So my army is pretty much dead. I only have 3 weakened tank, one of them that's okay-ish. Well, two tanks that's okay, and 2 artillery, which none of them can stand against his army. He has 3 medium tanks, which I have none. He has so many artillery compared to my 2. But I was also worried that my black bomb would crash, so I built an APC, which this thing had 1 fuel left before my APC. So I blow up my black bomb, I activate my super. I couldn't quite kill this recon. I blow up my second black bomb and try to do what I can, but at this point, the game is definitely over by now. And that was uh, my last game in the Egg Cup. I made it to round 7 and then got eliminated. Uh, After this, we said GG. I wished him good luck against his possible next opponent, Tordred, who, as of this point, is eliminated by Deegis, so his next opponent might be Deegis. But good luck to you, ttam4200. And this is the end of the Egg Cup series.